Just finishing up at the barn. It is Tuesday, June the 8th, which also happens to be my anniversary. So, to celebrate her anniversary, Amy came to the barn and worked with the horses in the barn as I did. I can assure you she did much more than I did today. A lot of stuff going on today. We had the qualifiers. Wanted to watch Harvard Yard go. Deodorant. I wanted to watch Harvard Yard go in the Meadows. Went really well. 2-5, I think. First time behind the gate. Second time behind the gate. Looked very good to me. I wanted to make sure that all our horses, so I took a little inventory here. All of our horses were ready to go for Thursday. Were any horses that need nails in their shoes, any horses that need a little trimming, a little shoeing before Thursday. Make sure the horses were all right. What do the blood works look like that we drew? Voyage of Ice and Fire, Eyes at 10. Both show little ulcers. So you see that a lot in young horses. So we'll treat them up for Thursday. I'm not too worried about it. Both of those horses in particular have fantastic appetites also. So and both looked very, very good. So wanted to make sure that was in place. The weather, you can never tell, right? I messaged everybody today about how I woke up and it was pouring rain. I live 4 or 5 minutes down the road from Northfield. Pouring rain. I went in to have a shower and a shave. I come back out and the sun was out. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. But that's the type of weather you get here, right? Every day it seems like if you look at the forecasted weather from 7 to 14 days, it changes quite a bit. From hour to hour, it seems. So Thursday, we don't know. There's a chance of rain, but I think unless there's heavy rain, unless there's rain, we'll be going on Thursday. So we have 20 horses. Rather than tell you the 20 that are going, of the 23 that are here, there's only 3 that are not going. Now, if your horse is not on this list of 3, then it absolutely is in to qualify on Thursday. 3-point blue chip, we talked about this. This colt is maturing and getting bigger. I'm giving him 0 reason. Now, I made an error the other day too, but I'll finish this. I want to give him 0 reason not to become the horse he's bred to be. Looks like he's coming forward, doing his work very, very well. A great training trick the other day. Now, I made a mistake. I said, we're going to get him ready for Kentucky. We have so many horses we're trying to plot paths for right now that I made a mistake. He's not eligible to Kentucky, this colt. This colt is going to the where I see him starting, if things go right, if everything locks into place, the Champlain, the Wellwood, if he happens to do well in there, if he's good enough, you know what could come later after that. And then we have, if he's good enough, Breeders' Crown is in the fall. And then because we're giving him time and starting him late, the Valley Victory Series, it's very late, November in the year, goes for a lot of money. And a lot of those bigger colts maybe have shut down by then. So depending on the trajectory of 3-point blue chip, he's exactly where we need him to be. There's no need to push and push and push. He's doing everything I've asked him to do and doing it rather well. So for those of you a little disappointed he's not on the qualifying sets for June the 10th, you can't have him ready June the 10th and have him good in November. It's virtually impossible. So certainly no concerns with him. Duke Dio actually could have been in the qualifiers, but he's never been behind the gate yet. So tomorrow, again, if it's not raining, it's supposed to rain. Tomorrow, if it's not raining, I'm going to take Duke out, put him behind the gate. Maybe go a mile and 2-3, 2-4 again with him and set him up for a qualifier next week, which is ahead of schedule for Duke Dio. So good for him. And then Luck of the Dragon, as you know, had that entrapment. We had that little procedure done right here in the barn yesterday. So I think the rest of the week, just kind of walking and in the stall, and then you can start jogging him after that. How much time did he miss? What kind of change will we see in him? That'll be up to him. I can't answer that. That will be up to Luck of the Dragon, but that's the plan with him. Now, aside from those 3, every other 2-year-old in Ohio will be going behind the gate on Thursday, as of right now. If something comes up, it comes up. But as of right now, 20 will be heading postward in the morning. And yes, to the answer you're all going to ask, if you don't already know, we are going to televise it. The Stable.ca has managed to work it out so that we can simulcast live the entire qualifying session. We also have Holy Chick qualifying. I'm forgetting one horse too. We also have qualifying, I think. Definitely Holy Chick, but the entire situation, the entire qualifying schedule that morning will be streamed live for you. Now, a little bit late now, I had somebody message me. I was too trying to find out how to watch the qualifiers this morning from the Meadows. For future reference, if you don't know, you have to go to the Facebook MSOA, so Meadows Owners Breeders Association, MSOA, Meadows Standardbred Owners Association. That's it. You need to go to that Facebook page, and they streamed them today. Anyway, they streamed them live. Tim had texted me to let me know how to get a hold of them right before she went on the track, and I thought she looked rather well. Yesterday we had, I believe, two starters, cruising in style, 8-hole. Not much you can do about that. And on a half-mile track, that's like 4 8-holes in his last 8 starts, 10 starts. It's incredible. Sweet Ambitions raced well and finished second. What else do we got coming up? A lot of qualifiers this week. I'll tell you one. I'm not that interested in qualifying at all after looking at who he's in with. Brilliant Corners 9-hole in with all killers from last year, all gold super final type horses, at least 3 or 4. Dustin Jones's horse, I know, made 100, can't touch this or something, made 100 and some thousand. Desperate Man is in there. And then James has that horse, he had ones all across his program. You only made 70,000, but winning 51. There's some killers in there. And I wanted to go fast. I wanted to get a good mile into him, into Brilliant Corners. But if that can be mitigated by simply racing him at Georgian or something, so be it. And I think it stands to reason we should take a look at all the horses that are ready to go, all the horses in these divisions, and understand that I know somebody messaged me, couldn't figure out why I was even mentioning the Meadows or non-winners of 2 stateside for a horse like Brilliant Corners. Well, now you know, because there is a massive influx of 3-year-old sophomore pacing colts from all speeds, designations, all horses. There's a ton of them ready to go. I don't know how many, but I know there's a lot. And, you know, we have a lot of horses that are a horse like First Glance. We can race them in the numbers of 2, numbers of 3. We can put them in the condition claimer if we want, if these horses can't do in the grassroots. Keep in mind, last year, the grassroots 2 different times went in 49, just so you know. So it's no cakewalk to say, oh, we got to, like, for instance, First Glance qualified in 54. Oh, he's definitely a grassroots horse. Just pump your brakes. He may not be. But the good news is we get tons of classes for a horse like him. Brilliant Corners may not be a better horse than First Glance. I don't really want to comment on that because I don't know for certain. But I think, personally speaking, First Glance has a lot more avenues in Ontario than Brilliant Corners. That may not make sense to you. What I'm trying to say is I think Brilliant Corners could be a nice horse. I'm just not really sure how, when, where. But I'm certain he is. I've been wrong before, but in my mind, I'm certain he is. So, again, that certainly isn't a plan A, but to qualify him against those horses on Thursday or Friday, I guess we could, but if there's an opportunity to race him at Georgian Downs especially, I think it would be a better path forward for him. But, again, that's a conversation for Harry and I to have. The qualifiers literally just come up when I was checking the entries. I was looking to see if anybody was entered in to go, but nobody has yet. Northern Blizzard will race next Monday, I believe, or Tuesday, next Tuesday. He'll race in Ontario in the non-winners of 2. Why not Friday? We want to get him checked out by the vet. This is a horse that's got little triggers, and those little issues can play a major role somewhere else in his body. So Mario said he was on the left line, on the right shaft. From what I heard from Mario, and then what I saw the veterinarian do today, left ankle, left and right lower hock and right knee, makes sense. I can't really discern what the trigger is of those issues, but the issues that Mario saw the other day, that he articulated to me, made total sense. And when the vet looked at the horse today, what I hear from Mario and what I see from Dr. McKee makes total sense. So Johnny was right in sending the horse up there. He's going to have the horse ready to go now for Tuesday of next week. Now there's a 2. I'm super excited to see him race. War We Welcome. A lot of people saying, well, Anthony, you got to get her over here. Just relax. She's leaving here with Travis Henry on Friday morning. She's going to race here on Wednesday. Lots of racing ahead for War We Welcome. I think this is a horse this time over here would have really, really helped. And I'm expecting good things on Wednesday evening from Northfield Park with the rail nonetheless. But I'm also expecting bigger. I'm also always expecting bigger things from War We Welcome. But hopefully bigger things when she comes home. Somebody else said, I didn't quite understand your message with Carmen Osiello. We're sending the filly back, but she's going to Carmen Osiello. The reason being, I think he's doing a little more racing at a lot of the B tracks. Shouldn't say it. He races predominantly at Mohawk, but I noticed that he had some 3-year-old trotting fillies also, which it made kind of sense. We could have sent her to Harry, could have sent her back to Johnny, but I opted for Carmen. After a discussion with James and a discussion with Carmen, it made sense to me that maybe a fresh look at this filly when she headed back to Ontario made a lot of sense. So she'll be joining the ranks of Carmen Osiello and racing in Ontario next week. We talked about Brilliant Corners, about what I was thinking, where my head was at with this colt. That does not mean that any of that U.S. stuff will come to fruition. He could very likely qualify or race in Ontario, and we'll never talk about it again. I'm just saying, for a horse like him, I think there's something there. I could be wrong. I think there's something there. Now, we talked about Harvard Yard, how good she looked. We talked about the babies that were going to be qualifying on Thursday, 20 of them. Travis Henry is coming back over here to qualify the horses. So thank you, Travis, for doing that. Justin Irvine, who's got 8 wins last weekend in Michigan, he's going to be qualifying them also. I'm going to be going with as many as I can. And then Luke Ebersol and Chris Lemsdorf, always, they were very helpful to us here training the babies over the last 3 weeks. Both very, very good drivers, and we're lucky to have them on some of these horses on Thursday also. Now, something that rarely happens, but it has in the last few weeks, I wanted to take a look at, again, I'm going to keep explaining this because I constantly get messages from people not really sure. They don't really understand why we sold horses or why horses are up for sale. And I know there's probably a lot of people saying, okay, Anthony, I get it. But you have to understand that there's lots of people that don't get it. They don't understand exactly why horses are for sale. Now, we have 3 horses that are up for sale right now. One just sold an hour ago, Frilly Fringes. She was up for sale because she's an underachiever that hadn't won a race yet and made it very clear that she wasn't really that interested to getting to the winner's circle. We race a lot of horses that work very, very hard at their job. I work hard at my job, and I'm assuming you do also. So it's very difficult for me to go to bat for horses that I know don't, and won't in the future. So looking at a maiden filly, a maiden PA filly, obviously it didn't take long. We had 4 or 5 people from Pennsylvania call looking to buy her. Some people offered a lot less money than I thought she was worth. And one gentleman this morning hit it right out of the park, I believe, and put it right in a fair place. So I guess the fact that we sold Fox Valley Britska, Italian Grit, GW Chrome. Now, GW Chrome is an overachiever and a nice horse, but at the same time, hi.
So, are you guys doing are you putting it on Facebook, or what are you doing?
It'll be on Facebook, YouTube, and the stable website.
Okay.
But you can go onto our YouTube or Facebook page.
Okay,
and
well,
you'll be
just
able to
Frank wanted to publicize it,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
didn't know exactly.
It'll all be streamed live. All right.
You're awesome.
So that's Amy Haller, who's the Ohio Harness Horse Association representative. We were just letting Ohio know that we were streaming all the qualifiers from Thursday live. So maybe that'll spur them to do it next week. Who knows? So back to what I was saying, GW Chrome's an overachiever, but his claiming price, the place we could race him at in Ohio, at Northfield, had a claiming price of 10 plus allowances, which was $15,000. We were called and contacted and offered $15,000 for the horse. So we could have raced him again, and they could have claimed him. Or we could have just sold the horse and moved on, which we have a number of maiden trotters that are going to be racing right now, which we opted to do. I love GW Chrome, and I wish him all the luck. I hope the guy does the best, has great luck with him at Tioga in New York, but he's just an overnight horse. And I know some people don't like to hear that, but I'm going to tell you right now, for the people that understand, you'll get this. I am not, will not, and have absolutely no interest going on the track 10 and 20 to 1, knowing that is a legitimate morning line odds on our horses. It makes no sense to go on the track knowing you're going to lose. And that's what, and for the people out there that say, oh, well, they don't know the odds. They don't have to. I know the odds. And then for the most part, they're fairly accurate. We're going to have horses that maybe people don't know how well they trained or schooled. And they'll go out and we've won races with horses that are longer odds because they belonged. But when you have a horse that consistently goes on, you saw the difference in a horse like Well and Down. Raced in the non-winners of 4, got absolutely run over in the non-winners of 4, and she was 15 to 1 from the rail. Goes out in the non-winners of 2, where she belongs, with a tag on her, and she jogs. That's the difference between classifying our horses properly. We're not racing our horses over their heads. It's no good for you, it's no good for us, and it's absolutely no good for the horses. So, That leads into the second type of horse. Philly Fringes was sold because she was not a winning animal. She was not a horse that wanted to partake in winning races. We don't have room for horses that don't want to participate, or caretakers, or anyone else. We all have to work hard, including the horses. So, that is why Philly Fringes was sold. That is why Italian Grit was sold, because, well, one, we kept him in-house. Travis bought him because he was going to be useful in Ontario, but not in Indiana, where he was staked, and not in Ohio, where we had to race him in that condition claimer. I think he's a better horse in Ontario. Fox Valley Britska. One of our clients, Mike, wanted to race him in Indiana. I don't think he's competitive in Indiana. We sold the horse to Mike for 13. We could have put the horse on gate, sold him for 14, maybe 15. But I want to see Mike get the horse. His wife loves the horse. I want to see him race the horse and have fun with him. But I'm not sending horses on the track at long odds. It makes no sense to do that as any sort of competitive stable. So, leading out of Philly Fringes, back into Well and Down, the reason she had been up for sale was I had told everybody, one more win and she is going to be in big trouble. Now, we can race her in Paulding for $3,500, 2.5 hours away on Monday. She'll win, likely, probably. We can race in a few more fairs. Hope she stays sound. Hope she races in a competitive fashion. But she cannot do in the non-winners of 4 at Northfield Park or Scioto. She has run out of overnight classes. Now, there is one class she does fit. Non-winners of 2, but not more than 3 is the way it's written in Pennsylvania. But it is preference to Pennsylvania bred and owned horses first and foremost. Now, that class has been short from time to time. She may get in once, but she also has been listed up for sale again. And there's going to be a lot of people gripe about that. But again, we don't have anywhere to race her. I'm not going to keep her solely because we can go to the fairs and race for $3,000 every 6 days in Ohio. We're also racing stake horses here. We don't have time to be running 2.5 hours down to Paulding. I can on Tuesday because that's my job and I have nowhere else to race. And there's no other good reason not to race her there. That hopefully is a win for $1,700 and it doesn't count against her. So that's okay. But realistically, what is our game plan moving forward with Well and Down? She has now maxed out her winning potential and earnings potential in overnight races in Ohio. That is why a horse like Well and Down is up for sale. I'm not giving her away. I think we have her listed for $26,000. I'm not giving the filly away. But at the same time, you have to recognize the paths forward. Some horses will. Italian Grit was completely pigeonholed here. He was in big trouble. He couldn't do in the maiden consistently. Had a $10,000 tag, but in Ontario, I think he can do more good. So is there a place for Well and Down? I looked around everywhere. She might be able to do, maybe in other places, but at the same time, does it make sense to sell her? The answer to that is yes. We had another horse up for sale, Oh So Pine. My phone is overheating.